Okay, I haven't done this in a long while. I'm going to talk about some wrestling for once, yeah. It's been ages since I've talked about wrestling on YouTube to my channel, and that's what I started doing on this channel. God, 5 years ago now, eh? Bloody hell, 5 years. But, yeah, obviously this weekend just gone was Wrestlemania 28, and Monday Night Raw afterwards was fairly eventful as well. And it kind of showed me that WWE are kind of like willing to like do a few things to get their audience back, really. I mean, it's a shame they like can't really do that with their new stars as much as they've tried with people like CM Punk. It probably hasn't like come back to as popular as they want it to be again. And it's going to take time. It always takes time, but maybe you could argue that it will never happen because of the popularity of MMA these days, in particular UFC. I mean, since, well, like the middle of the last decade, that has just really took off as like the whole full contact like sport. And yeah, it's like more popular than boxing apparently now. But yeah, who knows like whether wrestling could have like another boom period like the Hogan era and like the Attitude era and stuff. Who knows? But I don't know, it'd be nice to, because I do still enjoy watch wrestling. I have to admit, I do like watch the WWE still. I mean, sometimes it's hard to be like a current wrestling fan when like things like seems like they're gonna do something with one guy and then they just stop. In Power Slam magazine, they called it the start-stop era of like people's pushes, and that is very true. I totally see that. And as for TNA, well, you know, not a lot's changed there really. But I gotta admit, like the odd few times I have watched it in the past few months, I have quite enjoyed a bit of TNA. I mean, I like seeing Austin Aries, for instance, and I do get a few kicks out of Bully Ray's character, and I quite like Robert Roode as champion as well. But anyway, that's not the main topic that I'm talking about here. I'm going to talk about WrestleMania 28. Some of the feuds coming in, I had a lot of promise. I mean, but basically, the two matches with the main selling point was Cena Rock and Undertaker Triple H, and it kind of says a lot for like the roster really, that those are the selling points of the pay-per-view. I mean, in the intro bit before WrestleMania 28, it literally just had those four wrestlers in it, and it's like, oh god, so WrestleMania 28 only has four wrestlers wrestling, does it? That's the impression I felt. But nonetheless, I guess they want to get those buy rates, and those matches are the ones that are going to pull the pay-per-view buy rates out of anything else on the card, sadly enough. I mean, the build-up for Punk and Jericho was like patchy to start off with, and Jericho's return had a lot of promise, but it kind of like felt lackluster for a bit. But then they started doing all this, oh yeah, your family's on drugs and alcohol and that, and trying to like get into CM Punk's head, and they're really like kind of selling it going in to the show. Whether it was that good or not is another question. I enjoyed it personally, but yeah, that turned out to be a really good match, I thought, on the cards. It started off slow and built up, and it was good, you know. It was like nearly up there with Cena Rock and Undertaker Triple H, but maybe not quite. But it was probably like the best wrestling match, pure wrestling match on the show, if that's what you're after. But WrestleMania isn't always about the pure wrestling match. And obviously, Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, I think that had the best consistent build-up towards the show. Just like the whole thing of Shawn Michaels being in as referee, and will he do the right thing? Is he still bitter about the streak ending? Is he going to end it himself? We're doing a quick count. During the match, it was good. I mean, like, the cameraman pulled in, and like you could hear all three of them talking to each other, like, stay down and all this, and like for that kind of drama, it's like one of the kind of most dramatic WrestleMania matches in like a hell of a long time, for that kind of pantomime drama, and it really offered a lot to it. It didn't necessarily have to be a Hell in a Cell match, you know. I mean, the focus of it was Shawn Michaels being the guest referee, whether you like it or not, and I'd say, like, it was incredible, you know. It was like really incredible match, and I wasn't too sure about all of them hugging afterwards, but I guess it kind of makes sense as an end of an era thing. And Jim Ross came back with a new goatee, and he's looking good, and it's always good to see Jim Ross there. And yeah, like, this is definitely the most dramatic match of the night, and it was great. Cena and Rock. Now, on the night, I was watching this, but I actually could have dozed off a bit in places of this match, because I was feeling a bit unwell and I was drinking a bit, and yeah, I didn't really think too much of it as I was watching it, but re-watching this match the following night, I thought it was an excellent match, and I thought Rocky really pulled out the stuff. He was like, the way he was selling John Cena's shitty STF thing was awesome. You know, it looked like he was like fading out, and like his eyes were like rolling into the back of his head. It was amazing. And The Rock is a fucking man, you know. He is great. And granted, I've got to admit that I haven't been into everything he's done since he came back. Like, some of his promos and that just felt a bit lackluster to me. And the build to this matchup in particular, John Cena like barely sold anything The Rock said, and then it's always like Cena's like, oh yeah, you've come back, you're not going to be around, blah blah blah. But I don't care. Even still, they pulled out the stops, and it was a good match, I thought. Really good, really main event worthy. The atmosphere was fantastic, it was great. Other things on WrestleMania card. Oh, well, obviously there's the Daniel Bryan Sheamus squash, but do you know what, that really put me in a weird mood, like, watching that, because I was hoping for a match at least. I knew Sheamus was going to get the title, but it's like a title match at WrestleMania, come on, like, it should have been an actual match, and they could have, like, took off some of the crappy segments they had. And I think like that should have been what should have happened in Big Show and Cody. But yeah, whatever, you know. Big Show and Cody, that was alright. I mean, there wasn't like much that was like horrible. I don't remember the women's match. Oh, the Team Teddy versus Team Johnny thing. It was alright, wasn't it? It was just like kind of there. And yeah, I can't really add a lot more to that. That's my WrestleMania thoughts. But obviously the next night, Brock Lesnar came in, and he F5'd Cena, and it was very exciting. And yeah, we're all wondering what's going to happen with Brock Lesnar now. Apparently, his contract allows him to do like 2 appearances per month, like for the rest of the year. So I'm thinking his like run now is going to end up in like a real big WrestleMania match, and I'm kind of thinking it could be Undertaker and Brock Lesnar, you know, dating back from their UFC stuff. But then that may not be too relevant if WWE can't get that footage. So it could even be Cena and Rock, like people have been talking. I mean, Brock and Rock people have been talking about. But to be honest, I don't really want that. But The Rock said about like how he wanted to be WWE champ again, and no, I could be up for that. But I think I'd need him to come back more than once or twice a year to wrestle if I was going to be satisfied with that. And maybe the scenario will be that Rock could beat the title off of Brock, but I don't know. The thing is now with the title, I mean, the young stars, like, they could have a long reign and that, but it won't really do a lot to make the title look prestigious. Maybe the title needs to be on a big star like Rock or Brock to make it look big again and look like a meaningful thing. I don't know, but it should be interesting what they're gonna do, what Brock Lesnar's gonna do anyway. I mean, I certainly popped for it, even though I knew it was gonna happen. And Lord Tensai, Prince Albert coming back as Lord Tensai, I enjoyed that. You know, it was like kind of over the top, like or Land of the Orient gimmick kind of thing, and he's looking like nasty, and I enjoyed that. And you know, hopefully it'll have a lot of promise. I don't know though. I have to wait and see, I guess. Yeah. And the CM Punk Jericho thing's continuing, and I thought that was good on Raw. How like Jericho busted that bottle into the railing, and it looked like it hit CM Punk on the head. And that was quite a nasty, vicious thing. And I enjoyed that. And of course, the Daniel Bryan chants, all the yes, yes, yes of that crowd. Like that was quite something. And you know, hopefully it'll do something for Daniel Bryan's like squash that he had. But maybe it's just that crowd, and maybe the next show there won't be all those chants. I don't know. He might have hit on something there. But as always with wrestling and WWE, you've got to wait and see. You know, it has been a start-stop era for like a long time. You know, wrestling, in the past few years, they don't seem to be that consistent on their storylines, and anything that could be exciting just kind of fizzles out. So, as always, you just got to wait and see. And that's my thoughts on WrestleMania and Raw recently. Let me know what you think. It's quite interesting talking about wrestling again. Who knows when the next wrestling video will be. I just felt in a particular mood to do it now, because like this important stuff has happened. And if you're watching this, I'd like some comments down there, and a bit of a conversation about wrestling is always fun. I mean, I do still kind of watch it, but whether I care about it as much as I had before, I don't know. All I can say is thank God for like DVDs and YouTube, because otherwise, if I just had to watch the wrestling that was on there and then, I don't think I'd be into it as much. Anyway, take it easy.